How's it going, guys? It's Final Render here. Before I start the video, I just want to say a big thank you to all of the guys who have been watching and subscribing. It's been incredible, man. In the last week or so, the subscribers and views have gone through the roof. I think my subscriber count has quadrupled, and the view count it's brilliant. Thanks so much, guys. Greatly appreciate it. So, for today's episodes of Fallout 4, Building with Mods, we are going to be on Spectacle Island, and we are going to be doing a very special project on Spectacle Island, which requires an awful lot of space. I've wanted to do this video for quite a while, but I've needed the mods in order to do it, and I've also needed just for sheer space to do it, and that is Megaton. I'm sure you guys remember Fallout 3 from 2008. Megaton was possibly the first settlement you would actually uncover after leaving Vault 101, and it's a fantastic looking place, but I needed some mods to get it done, and it's one of the places I have fond memories of playing this game back on PlayStation 3 and thoroughly enjoying myself. So, now Fallout 4 is here, I think it's time to make my own little version of it. Let's go. So first off, I need to scrap an awful lot of trees. I need an awful lot of space for this place because Megaton is going to be huge. It's going to be massive, people. And I wanted to make it out of metal entirely, but unfortunately you don't really have the variety of metal pieces in the game, so I went with wood. And using the more better stools, I have built the very first little brass lantern food area. And now using Fallout Pool Party, I can add some water in the centre. And you can actually get other bits of pool areas like steps and stuff, so you can make an actual swim pool. And this is actual water, and the reason I've got the water, of course, is to put the nuke in there. Now, I've got this little nuke here using OCDecorator, just a mini nuke round, not quite big enough. So let's use the console commands to make it much bigger. That's definitely much more bang for your buck if I say so myself. And now using rotate or move any object or NPC with a key press, very nice title that is, I can move that in place and rotate it so it actually matches the one that is in the actual Megaton. It would be nice if it would be a bit bigger, but never mind. And using the place everywhere mod again, it's kind of like the place in red mod. I'm able to put walls pretty much anywhere, and I'm actually building the Church of Atom right now, but the problem is that there is one building right in front, as you can see, which you can't get rid of, so I had to build around it. And using craftable ramps and rails, this is a mod I really needed to make Megaton, I can actually build ramps going all the way up. Normally I'd have to use stairs, but now I can use these ramps and put these railings on the side. Megaton is built entirely using ramps and buildings connected to said ramps, so I needed a way to actually make ramps. I didn't want to just use stairs, that's rubbish, and I didn't want to have to rotate every single panel and floorboard. It would just take way too long. So therefore, using the ramps and the railings, I am able to actually make Megaton, which I think is fantastic. Now, building Megaton isn't exactly going to have lots of new mods installed, but it does have lots of small little mods which work really well together, such as the place everywhere, and also craftable tool walls and spacers. A lot of the buildings in Megaton are actually quite big, so therefore using things like that in order to make the wall slightly bigger actually kind of separates it from the rest of the settlements in Fallout 4. And I think the difference is quite noticeable, especially when you start stacking these buildings together. They do kind of float in the air, but we'll fix that. Using the Homemaker mod, I'm able to put an APC in this vehicle. This is actually Moira Brown's little shop, the Craterside Supply, which actually has a plane part. Don't have any plane parts, so I put an APC in there. Looks good. And here we go, I'm actually using the rotating script again, and you can just type the scripts individually, but using the mod I described earlier, you're able to do it with key presses to make it much quicker. And now I've got like this little alcove, which is normally a bus in the main game, in Fallout 3, but never mind. And here, put the water purifier on the roof, and it doesn't actually get any water, as you can tell, but using the Place Everywhere mod, I'm able to put the water purifier on the roof of where the water purifier building in Fallout 3 is, and it's starting to come together already. And this is just going to take a long time. In fact, I've probably been working on this place for about a week, just trying to exactly recreate Megaton using reference photos which I took from the game. And it actually starts to come together very nicely towards the end, I'm sure you'll agree. The only thing which really makes it hard is scale and just the sheer amount of buildings. There's a lot of buildings, but that's just about the amount of time you put into it. Put more time into it, eventually you'll get all the buildings done. But getting the scale correct is quite hard. Some of the buildings, such as the floorboards and stuff in Fallout 4, are bigger than the ones you would get in Fallout 3. and vice versa. Some of them are bigger in Fallout 3 than they are Fallout 4, etc. So getting it to look and feel like Megaton is actually quite hard, but in theory, if you work well with the reference photos, you will actually get it to work like Megaton. And I knew I started to do a good job when I was about halfway through, because I started to get lost when I was going around my little settlement, when I was looking for certain buildings. And if you remember anything about Megaton in Fallout 3, it really needs a revamp from the planning permission of the city centre, because it's a complete maze, Megaton, to get around. So I found it very funny actually building my own Megaton. I started to realise how badly built it is. I'm aware that it's that way by design, but it is a complete mess to get around Megaton, and it actually translates perfectly into my version of Megaton in Fallout 4. It is basically exactly the same as Megaton. It's just made out of wood as opposed to entirely scrap metal. And I'm actually quite proud of it so far already. Right now you can see all of the main buildings are actually in place. I've got to put a few more ramps down in order to connect them, but all the key buildings are almost done, so to speak. And I'm not going to put too much emphasis on decoration, purely because decorating, there actually isn't much to decorate. The actual charm of Megaton is that it's quite sparse. It's just the walls and the ramps which just make it look so cluttered. But as you can see, a lot of the buildings were just kind of floating in the air, a lot of the railings were just suspended and breaking all kinds of Newton's laws. So using the Homemaker mod, I'm able to put these metal posts down, and using the Place Everywhere mod, I can actually extend them to make the correct size so that they go all the way to the top. And now, I'm sure the main thing you are wondering about, where are the walls? The key thing about Megaton is the giant walls. So therefore, I'm going to use these giant junk fence walls, and they are huge, but they're not big enough. I actually have to get 3 layers of these walls in order to get the correct height for Megaton, and they look pretty darn good. And now I needed a door. Megaton had a giant sliding door, but I don't actually have any doors big enough. I quite liked this garage door here, so using the console command I was able to increase its scale. First I did it to ×4, but that was way too big, so in the end I decided to go with ×2 scale. And then once I had that, it actually was about the same size as what it would have been in Megaton, and the animations and stuff still work. So using the console command as opposed to a mod, I have now got a giant Megaton door. It's pretty cool. The textures still look okay in this big scale as well, so that's great. So here I am, carried on with the walls, and now the walls are in place, it really does start to resemble Megaton quite a lot. Not just in layout, but now it actually starts to look like it. It really is quite astounding how just working with reference photos you can start to make something exactly the way it's meant to be. Using all of the mods and everything that has been built into Fallout 4 Vanilla, you can start to make pretty much anything you want really. But unfortunately, these huge walls actually do obstruct a lot of light. So using craftable solar panels and fusion reactors, I'm going to generate some power for Megaton. Because when the sun is quite low in the sky, it really does block out the light, so I need to get the lights up quick. And using longer power lines, I am able to stretch these power lines pretty much all the way across the entire town, which is what happens in the Fallout 3 version of Megaton. There are just cables going all the way across the sky, and it's probably an electrician's nightmare. The sparks are going crazy, but you know what? It looks cool. As you can see, I spent the entire in-game day putting lights up, but it was still way too dark. So I needed to put even more lights up just to completely illuminate Megaton and make it look absolutely stunning. I do feel as if that when you build a settlement, when it gets to night time, you have all the lights illuminating it, that's when it really starts to look good, in my honest opinion. So after another in-game night of putting up lights, I'm actually pretty happy with all the lighting and the electric system. It looks like a mess, but it looks like Megaton, so I'm happy with that. And next, I need a little Protectron just outside, which is what happens in Fallout 3, the little robot outside. So using Robot Home Defense, I've got that guy down there. He increases my defense, and it's a little walking robot. What can I say? A little walking, talking, living doll. I'm happy with it. And there we go. All of the kind of main structure of Megaton is now completely in place. It's time to decorate. So again, using my reference photos, I decided to put little stools and spotlights on the main doors. It does actually resemble Megaton quite a lot. It's just different textures really, in my opinion. And some of the mods I've got installed, like with the better stores, I'm able to put the neon signs up, put some vanilla signs around the place, and again using OCDecorator I'm able to get like this medical gurney out the front and the Brahmin feed tray. It all just adds up. Now with the way modding is, I've got every asset I need in order to actually make Megaton my own, but also exactly recreate it. Luckily, decorating Megaton doesn't have much in, as I said. It's actually fairly sparse decoration-wise, so it didn't take long to actually put all the decorations in place. And also, since there's not many, it meant I could spend more time actually making it exactly right, and very specifically tweaking all of the little elements, like this section here outside the crate side supply, and just make it look great. And I think it does look good. For some reason, some of the buildings have literally no decorations at all, others have quite a few. And now I needed to actually make it funny to Fallout 4. I decided to put some beds and stuff in. The buildings in Megaton aren't the same one-to-one inside as they are in Fallout 3, because it's kind of like the TARDIS. Some of the buildings are bigger on the inside than they are on the outside. And here, looking at some of the reference photos I've got, you can actually see the befores and afters. Here is the main gate of Fallout 4, looking pretty good. Here is the brass lantern in Fallout 3, and my one in Fallout 4. I think you'll agree, all of these locations actually do look pretty good, and it's just because I paid close attention to all of the reference photos. And some of which is really cool is that the actual scale of everything isn't too bad. It's a little bit bigger in Fallout 3, but in Fallout 4, I still get the exact Megaton feel, and I'm really happy with that. I think it's so cool that it translates so well into a different game by building it myself. I've never tried to do this before in Fallout 4, try to recreate a location from a previous game, but I might actually try it a bit more in future, because looking at Megaton, I think the possibilities are endless currently. And now all of my settlers started to arrive and the Brahmin started to bring all the trade in, and I was pretty happy with it. So guys, what do you think of my Megaton? I'm actually quite proud of it myself. It took a really long time, guys, I'm not gonna lie, but I started to see how well the views were going and how well the subscribers were going up, and I thought I've got to do something really special for these guys. So here you go. This is Megaton. It looks fantastic at night, especially with the True Storms mod on, and when the settlers start to do their everyday lives and all their normal activities, it looks pretty darn good as well, and words can't describe how happy I am that it turned out quite so well. When I started I was thinking I could put loads of effort into this and it might still look quite rubbish and it might not feel like Megaton at all, but luckily it does. It just goes to show that if you put enough effort into your settlements, they can look great. So thanks very much guys, this has been the final render and you have been watching Fallout 4 building with mods. If you've enjoyed it, please subscribe and leave a comment, check out some of the other building with mod videos, and I hope to see you all soon. Bye bye for now.